Today I'm talking about Priscilla Presley's bridal look. This might be the most unexpected bridal look that you would ever see. It's more like Cleopatra. So this is a very iconic look that Priscilla created herself, whether she had someone applying her makeup or whether she did it herself. This was very intentional. Now, she coined this era as her Cleopatra era, where she was doing very heavy eye makeup and a light lip. So she had attended the Patricia Stevens finishing school where they did makeup application, learning how to walk, sit, stand, sort of those charm school type programs. And she learned how to apply her own makeup. Now, I've read extensively about this, and a lot of the women who took those courses said that they were outdated makeup techniques. So I am guessing that because of Elvis's over the top persona, his vibrant and expressive and electric stage presence, and the dark hair and the heavy eyebrows and those pouty lips, she was trying to recreate a sort of female version of Elvis. And they were married at the Aladdin Hotel. It was a quick ceremony, roughly 8 minutes. And you can hear Joe Esposito talk about that. But she had this sort of dark hair, really high beehive, dark Cleopatra liner, false lashes, dark eyebrows, and a soft pale pink lip. And it was stunning at the time. So this is not a typical natural or soft bridal look. This is intentional. And I believe that she wanted to present herself in the same likeness as Elvis. This sort of, it's like stage presentation, a stage makeup application. It was pancake makeup and heavy liner, false lashes. This is something that women wouldn't be wearing on a day-to-day basis. And she knew that there would be photos and news, and there was a press conference after the wedding. So she knew that she would be photographed from every angle. And you can imagine how nervous she was. Joe Esposito talks a lot about how nervous she was, and Elvis, but she was more nervous. And he had whispered to her, "Are you as nervous as I am, little one?" And you can see in some of the footage, her hands are lightly shaking as she's trying to maintain composure. It is the sweetest thing. And so I really love their look. I know it's over the top, and it's 1967. People don't have this sort of aesthetic anymore, but it's such a beautiful rock and roll wedding. And when I see the two of them together, they both look so gorgeous. I mean, the perfect rock and roll couple of all time. And to see them there looking so beautiful and polished and put together, even though she has the Cleopatra eyes, I really like it. I feel I would never wear this, but I feel it just looks so beautiful on her. And the dark hair really did suit her with those beautiful blue eyes. They both had those beautiful, Priscilla still has beautiful blue eyes, but in the images, there's the symmetry between the two of them. You know, he was wearing a sort of black paisley tuxedo, had that damask look about it, and she had that beautiful white dress with the very subtle lace on the sleeves. And they were just gorgeous, glamorous. And I'm gonna let Joe talk a lot about this, but the fact that this was so top secret that she had to go incognito to go find a dress, because if word had gotten out, the Hollywood press would have just jumped all over this and ruined their plans. So they did it as quickly as possible, as beautifully as possible, and they borrowed Frank Sinatra's private jet from Palm Springs and went to Las Vegas, wed there at the Aladdin, and had a press conference after with a short reception with some of the Memphis Mafia, and of course Vernon was there. And then they flew back to Palm Springs to that beautiful House of Tomorrow, the honeymoon hideaway. And I just think it's this sort of romantic rock and roll wedding, even though it was so quickly done. But you have to understand, Elvis was the most talked about, read about, sought after star. He was in films, music, on the radio. He was superstardom, and they just, they couldn't go anywhere to have a sort of intimate moment. So they had to keep this very secret. And I love it. I love the looks. I love everything about it. It's so romantic. It's so rock and roll. And so let's talk about the ring. So Priscilla's ring, Elvis had made for her. I'm going to show you an image where the wedding band and the engagement ring are complementary and they fit together. So when you go to Graceland, you can actually see their wedding attire. They're displayed, but Priscilla still owns she says that she still has the wedding ring, engagement ring set. And so I don't know what her intentions are, her future plans. Perhaps she'll give them to Graceland to display there, but she does still own them. And you can see that the design was intentional. Lots of diamonds, of course, because Elvis loved jewelry and he loved rings. Geesh, I gotta keep going. This isn't dark enough. This isn't enough. And it's very heavy-handed, but it was an intentional look. And so I'm gonna leave you now with some footage of Joe Esposito and some home movies of the wedding. And then next week we will visit my trip to the House of Tomorrow to see the honeymoon hideaway, and I'll talk more about that. But anyway, guys, I'll see you every Saturday for Elvis content. Stay tuned for Joe Esposito's home movies, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Elvis had been dating Priscilla for a long time, and I think she would turn 21, and he knew that it was time to get married. He was in love with her, and Priscilla and Elvis talked about it for a long time. So Elvis one day called in Marty Lacker and myself and told us that he wanted to get married. He's talking to the Colonel about it, and he wanted the Colonel to set it up, and that Marty and I were to work with the Colonel to set up the arrangements for the wedding. And but it was even more exciting that when Elvis asked us to be co-best men. I mean, that was a very big honor for me. I mean, to realize I was going to be one of the best men at Elvis Presley's wedding. I mean, we were friends and employees second. It was great. I mean, I was only around for a few years, and so we made arrangements. Colonel wanted to do it in Las Vegas. He figured that's the best place to go because you don't have to wait for a marriage license for 3 days like you do in California. The press wouldn't find out about it. So we started making arrangements, and the best idea we had was to go to Palm Springs. The rumors are getting around now that Elvis was going to get married. I don't know. I have no idea how those things happen in Hollywood, but it started getting Rona Barrett heard about it, and a lot of different press started hearing. So we all go to Palm Springs. We fake them off. Go to Palm Springs, invite Elvis' family, the media, his father and his stepmother and kids and all that come to Palm Springs, and Priscilla's family. So we coordinated everything. So Elvis's family, Priscilla's family all met in Palm Springs, the house there. We put them in different hotels, and the plan was late in the evening to sneak over to Vegas. Had a charter plane for the family and friends, and then there was a Learjet that took Elvis, Priscilla, myself, my wife Joan, and George Klein. We went earlier, went out the back way of the house in Palm Springs, had a couple cars waiting for us, took us right to the airport, got on the Learjet, flew right to Las Vegas, and had a car waiting there. The colonel was very good friends of Milton Prell, which owned the Aladdin Hotel at the time. They picked us up, took us right downtown to the City Hall in Las Vegas. Went up there, got the marriage license. Priscilla and Elvis and signed what we had to do, and I signed as a witness, and so did Marty as a witness on the marriage license. Went back to the hotel, and the rest of the family showed up. We started getting dressed and got our tuxedos on, and so it was about, I think it was about 10 o'clock, 10:30 or something like that. We all go to Milton Prell's suite. That's where the wedding was set up.
In Las Vegas, it's wedding bells for the man who practically invented rock and roll, Elvis Presley, and Priscilla Beaulieu, a friend of 8 years' standing. The 32-year-old Mississippi boy who started a new style of singing gives his bride a 20-carat diamond ring. Now more a movie than a recording star, Elvis met Priscilla when he was a GI in Germany and she, the daughter of a lieutenant colonel, was a high school girl. It's the first marriage for both.
When Priscilla walked into the room, she was so beautiful and stunning. I mean, it sort of took your breath away. She was absolutely wonderful, and she was very, very nervous. You could see it, much more nervous than Elvis was. And Elvis had a great smile on his face, and you could see how much they loved each other. And it was just a wonderful feeling to know there's two happy people here. During the ceremony, it was very intimate. There was only a few people in there. It was very small. The judge giving the ceremony was very somber. It was very nice. During the ceremony, my feelings were, I was happy to see the two of them so happy. It really was. They're a beautiful couple. I mean, they're two, Priscilla's so gorgeous, so is Elvis. And these two nice, fun-loving people. It was very exciting. I mean, as far as feelings going, I was excited to be there. I was excited to be part of it, and to realize how my life had changed since before I went in the Army because of meeting this man. And I felt very honored that I was there right at this time. Had a press conference set up. Went immediately from the ceremony right to the press conference, and the press was there and talked about how he felt about getting married and all that. And after that, we went to a little wedding reception. You know, had cake and musicians and playing some nice music, and had some cake and some food, and had a little party there just for the family and friends. Then we all went back to our airplanes, flew right back to Palm Springs. In the meantime, Rona Barrett is sitting in front of the house in Palm Springs, waiting for Elvis to get married. And she was so mad when she heard that we were in Las Vegas and it was announced that Elvis got married. It was great because we fooled the press, and Elvis always knew that. He liked to have his own privacy, and it worked there. So we got back to Palm Springs. We all sat and relaxed. It was over with. It was a beautiful day. We were sitting outside in the sun around the deck, and Priscilla and Elvis and me and everybody else part of the family, and Vernon and Priscilla's family. And I could just remember Elvis got up from his chair and went over and cut a rose for Priscilla from one of the rose bushes back there and brought it to her. I never saw Elvis do something like that before, but it was a nice touch. I thought it was a very nice, warm, romantic touch. We had a nice dinner. The maids were there to cook a nice dinner for all of us. We all sat around, talked, was relaxed, wonderful. And then we called it a night. And then we only stayed there a couple of days, then we went back to Memphis. And Elvis really had his honeymoon in Memphis at the ranch. He had a ranch